All right. Okay. Thanks, James. I see we are ready for live streaming.
We are live now, so I'm going to make you
Okay.
co-host. You can make
Thank
me
you.
a
And I'll
co-host.
make you co-host. Yeah. As soon as you've done that, I'll make you co-host. Yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. We are ready to go. Yeah, next week the first one on Friday at 8:00 in the morning, Perth time. We're going to do an international meet and greet where people from all over the world, hopefully, will come and have time with us and tell where they are and who they are and things like that. So I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we're going to give it a go. All right.
Well, do you recognize the Pam?
No, I don't.
Let them work, okay?
I think let them in and we'll just
Sure.
play it by ear.
No worries.
Let's go. Let's go with that. Hi, Amaya, and hi, Pam. How are you today? Pam, whereabouts are you from? No, not going to talk. And Amaya, where are you from?
Hi, I'm from San Francisco, California.
Oh, San Francisco, awesome. So what's the time in San Francisco at the moment?
It's 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay, so you're 3 hours, 9 hours behind us. Okay, so so that is awesome. And hi, welcome. Who's joining me there? Oh, lots of people coming in. That's excellent. There's Beta. Hi, Marlene. How are you? Nice to have you in class. Where are you from, Marlene?
Oh, Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, great. And we've still got a few more that are joining us with their audio. There comes Beta. Is that how you pronounce your name? Beta or Beta? Oh, sorry, you're on mute.
It's Beata.
Beata. Oh, sorry, Beata. I apologize. There's nothing worse than being called by the wrong name.
Correct.
So I do apologize for that. I know the children in class, before we knew their names properly, used to get very upset if you didn't pronounce it the way they were used to. Nan, where are you from, Nan? Alaska. You're on mute at the moment.
But you read her lips, huh?
I tried.
No, actually, I'm from Michigan.
Michigan. Oh, I got that one totally.
Hi, Nan. I'm from Michigan too.
Oh, wow, there we are.
Where's she from in Michigan?
Where?
Oakland County.
Oh, I'm Macomb.
Oh, okay.
Okay, right. Nice. We've got some people from the same places in,
Yes,
so that is awesome. And then it's only Pam who we're not sure where Pam's from. You're observing today. Wonderful, Amaya. Lovely to have you with us. That is excellent. Right, today we are going to talk about birds in our gardens. I will show you some of the ones that I've got. I've got some beautiful, amazing birds in my garden. I'm very fortunate where I live. We have parrots, but exquisite parrots that fly into the garden. We have also other beautiful little birds that come into the garden. I don't have a big garden. You'll see in my picture, I've got a very small garden, but they really seem to love the garden. And so I get a variety of birds in, but I want to know about your birds too. This is very much an interactive class. Please feel free to leave your microphones on and to chat and to see, let's see what we can learn about each other's gardens. My computer is playing up slightly. It may jump out of the full screen, so I may have to work off full screen, but let's just see if we can get it to, some days it doesn't like to stay on full screen for some reason, and there's nothing I can do to keep it on full screen. So this is one of the parrots that we get in our garden. It's called a ringnet parrot, an Australian ringnet, and he is really, really beautiful and comes flying in very often. So as you know, we learn from each other. Ideally, when we've got our cameras on, we can see each other, we can interact, and that is really great. You can also ask for a recording after class, and that's at help@getsetup.io. And if you join by live streaming, the best way if you want to interact is to actually register and join us. We are not paid to promote any products, but today's not a product day for me, so it's fine. A little bit about myself. I'm Sue. I live in Perth, Australia with my husband, Michael, who's also a guide. And we lived in South Africa. I lived in South Africa for 63 years. He lived a little longer. And 3 years ago, we moved to Perth to help look after the grandchildren. And so we now live in Perth, Australia. I love creating and making things, and I have a great love of animals. That's why I do the bird one, the Australian animals, the African animals, encounters with animals. So I do a variety of animal-y type classes. And I have been an educator for 44 years. I still educate. But being a Get Set Up guide, I don't. I share with my peers. And for me, that is awesome. So that's just a little about me. Now, welcome to my garden. This is my garden that I have. As you can see, it's not a big garden. I have gnomes in my garden. That's why I have my little welcome gnome. And they are scattered in different places around the garden. And we've put an arch into the garden, and onto the arch in the center, we have hung a bird feeder. But just after this picture was taken, I bought a bell-shaped seed seeds with lots of seeds on it. And within 5 minutes of putting it up, the parrots started to arrive. I don't know how they even knew it was there, but they were there so quickly. But as you can see, my garden's not big, but we've tried to make it as animal friendly. We've got a little bandicoot who comes in. We've got lots of lizards and bees and wasps. And we've got 3 different water features where they can go and drink and swim and have their baths. So we are now attracting a lot of birds into our garden. The other way that we're so fortunate is behind that fence that you can see is the front, and there's no road there. It goes straight into a big park. So it's free for the birds. And to the left of that, there is a little forest. It's not very big, but it's a beautiful little forest which we walk in every day. And if we do it early in the morning or late evening, the cacophony of sound from the different birds is amazing. We just hear so many different birds singing. So in that way, we are so fortunate. Now, so what birds do you have in your garden? Here's what's left of the bell, which disappeared very quickly. And these are the Australian ringnecks. They are a very vibrant green color. And yesterday was for the first time. Usually they fly away if we open the door. But yesterday we didn't somehow register they were up there, and we opened the door and the dogs went out. And did they shout at the dogs? They gave the dogs an absolute scolding for coming outside, and I had to call the dogs back inside because these parrots were telling them in no uncertain terms that they were disturbing their feeding, and then they flew off and sat in the tree looking very disgruntled. But it was so
Sue?
interesting.
Have you ever taped them? I mean, so the sound of them?
We will now that we know what they do, we will certainly do that.
Oh, okay,
and
good.
and later on, I will ask James towards the end to please put up the sound of the kookaburra for us, because that is the one bird. The laughing kookaburra has a sound that you can only smile. It sounds like it's laughing from the bottom of its toes. So yes, we'll put that one up. But yes, we will definitely put the dogs out when these two are there again, and let them shout at the dogs, because it was the first time we'd ever heard them do that. It was so strange. So before we go on to what's in my garden, would you like to tell me what you've got in your gardens? What do you have in your garden, Marlene? What comes into your garden?
Well, I have mostly robin birds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we have some trees in the back, and you hear such beautiful sounds that the birds make. And we have a red cardinal bird, and we also have the female cardinal bird, which has an orange beak, and it has orange feathers, and it's sort of a tan gray color body. And that particular bird keeps coming to our window all the time. He's been doing that. She has been doing that for a long time. It's unbelievable, right? Just taps on the window.
It just taps on the window, and now that is so interesting. We've got a little one that taps on the window. It comes and I don't know whether they see their reflection and that's what they're tapping at.
It could be that. That's
we haven't worked that one out. Yeah, we also wonder about that.
Yeah, but it keeps coming back. It's amazing all the time. So yeah, so that's about what I usually say. There's another bird that's all gray, but I'm not sure what type that is. Yeah.
What we used to call an LBJ, a little brown job. You're not sure what it is. It's there.
Right.
In South Africa, we had plenty of LBJs. We just couldn't keep that, because I'm not, I don't go looking at birds. I just love my birds. I've got my bird book. And when I find something that comes into my garden, I'll look up and find out what it is. But I'm not what do they call it? A twitter. Is that what they call a person that studies birds? Is called a twitter.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think so. It is a really interesting name that they call it. They call it a twitter, and or tweeter or Twitter, but. Yeah, so James, I'm sure, will look up for me and tell me what it is, what they call a bird watcher. Nan, what do you have in your garden?
Am I on mute?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. Right now, there's finches in the garden. Mm-hmm. And I also have some cardinals and blue jays. I have a hummingbird feeder out there, but I haven't had any hummingbirds yet.
Be patient. They'll come. They'll suddenly realize and come. So that would be awesome.
I even have, I bought a flower that has red flowers on it, because they said that the red really attracts them. And I had read also that banana peelings. Mm-hmm. And I'm just wondering, what else can I do to get them to come here?
You could put up a sign.
Sign? Come here. Yes, come here. They called a twitcher. A twitcher is a bird lover. A person who studies birds is a twitcher. So not quite a tweeter, a twitcher. And oh, that's beautiful. But no, try it. Just be patient. I'm sure they'll come. I'm sure you'll get them. Particularly with summer coming, you'll get them.
Okay.
And Beata?
Well, we feed the birds year round and have for years. And to our suet feeder, we get a wide range of woodpeckers. We get the downy, we get the hairy, we get the yellow belly, we get kind of a striped back. We get a lot, and once in a while, a northern flicker, which is native to this area. Very large woodpecker, northern flicker with a white bottom. That's how we always can tell that it's a northern flicker.
Okay. A northern flicker. I've never heard of that one.
northern
I'll have a
flicker.
look. Okay.
We I think because we have so many sparrows, those are my little brown birds that just look normal. We actually often attract a hawk, and we've had a Cooper's hawk sit on our dogwood tree right outside our kitchen window, just like waiting for something to come out.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And our deck is an odd shape, kind of an octagonal, and we have a giant yew bush next to one of it, and that's our bird apartment house. All of the sparrows live in our bird apartment house.
Oh, that is so awesome. That is great. Yes, it's interesting. We have a hawk around here, and when you hear him mew, he makes like a mewing sound. You suddenly don't hear any birds. All the birds are absolutely dead still.
Correct.
They don't make a sound. Suddenly, from having all sorts of calls around, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And when the hawk moves off, then all the birds start to talk again, and you can hear them. So it's very, very interesting that they do that. They know when to be quiet.
Hey, Betta, do you have those? We also get those, like those red-winged crows, are they called?
No, red-winged blackbirds.
Blackbirds, yeah.
Yep,
Do you have
yep.
some of them there too?
Yes, yes, and they're very, very talkative. They
Yes,
have a
they
lot.
are. Yes. Oh,
And-
and I forgot the mourning doves.
Oh,
Do you
yes.
get them?
Yeah.
They're really pretty to listen to.
Yeah, we keep our windows open, and when you wake in the morning, I mean, the songs and the calling, and it's a
It's
lot.
There's
beautiful, isn't it?
nothing nicer than that. There's nothing nicer than that. And my office is at the back end of the house, and so it's closer to the forest. And when the kookaburras come into the forest, the sound comes in through my window, and it is just so beautiful. And as I say, we'll put it up just now. We'll do it. Pam, okay, can you tell us anything about your garden? No, okay, Pam doesn't want. That's fine, Pam, if you don't want to say anything.
She put something in the chat.
Oh, yes,
actually-
quails. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
sorry, Pam. Quails, hummingbirds, and finches, woodpeckers,
Wow.
hawks, owls, and bats and doves. You've got an amazing array of birds in your garden, Pam.
Owls too.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, owls are beautiful. If we've got time at the end, I'll tell you about my owls in South Africa. I had to leave them behind, unfortunately. I had a family of owls, wild owls, that actually communicated with me. They would sit and talk to me in the morning, and if I didn't answer, they would fly over my head to say, "We're here, hello."
Ooh.
And it all started with the fact that the crows would come and annoy them, and I would go out and chase the crows. And they decided that they were very happy that I chased the crows away from them. And then the family who owned the property put up a bird feeder. And this bird feeder that they put up, they decided that this was something that we could not only bird feeder but also an owl house high up in the tree, and they had 2 baby owls, and these 2 little baby owls were the most gorgeous owls. I'll actually share the pictures with you now. I'm going to go out from where I was and show you these. Here they come. They've got themselves a little bit to the side, but let's just wait for it to come up. This is the mother owl. She is an eagle owl. And
Sue,
she's
you're going
much
to click
thinner.
on them, aren't you, and make them
Yes.
larger? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Can I make them larger? Let's
You should
see.
be able to. You're showing us, so you should be able to click.
It is on its largest, unfortunately.
Oh.
Oh,
no, there we are. There we are. No, there they come. There we are. We've got them. There is Mother Owl. She is an eagle owl. Absolutely beautiful owl. She's thinner and more elegant than her husband. Her husband is, now it won't let me go. Okay, I'm going to have to go in and out of this. All right, that's fair enough. If it wants to do it that way, then I'll just make it
We're
bigger.
still seeing all the little thumb
Little
size.
Thumbprints, that's all I'm seeing.
Why are you seeing small ones? James, can you help me with that? Because I've made it into, it's my full screen. So I'm not quite sure you're not seeing my full screen.
No,
Hmm.
I'm not
This is a
seeing
great
your full.
horned owl, right?
No, it's an eagle owl.
Oh,
An
an
eagle
eagle
owl.
Oh, the
Mm.
eagle, the first one says eagle owl.
That's
Yeah,
right. It does
Yeah.
say that. Duh.
Yeah, they are eagle owls.
but it's
and-
not the full screen.
Oh, let's see. View actual size. Let's try that. Is that better?
No, I
That's
don't.
smaller.
Oh, no, it's going bigger
Mine's-
and bigger on mine. So,
Oh.
oh, that's such a pity that they're doing it like that. And I'm not sure why it's not allowing us to see. What I will do in future, I will actually put them onto
Your
Pam, small. They do sometimes attack small dogs. Oh, so I'm glad. No wonder you don't like them. I also wouldn't like them for that. This one here. What I'll do is my next time I do it, I'll actually have a page with these on so that you can see them clearly. The father is a fatter owl. And they lived up in the top of a tree, and he would come down and swoop on me to talk to me. He was the one that was more talkative. But the baby fell out of the nest, and this is the little baby down in the ground, and we actually had to make a home for it because it wouldn't go back home. Every time we put it back, it hopped out. And so, because its brother kept kicking it out, so it then grew up on the ground, and the parents looked after it, and it eventually was able to live and be there. But it always looked so cross with what it was doing. All right, sorry that we couldn't see the full one of that. So much appreciated for your patience. Right, now let's see. We're going to go on with the other birds that we have, the other parrots that come into my garden. So we've got the ringneck, the Australian ringneck. We've also got the rainbow lorikeet, and that is beautiful. It's got yellow and red on its head, blue on the wing. Ooh, okay. Screen sharing has stopped. Okay. All right. I said my computer was doing some odd things today, and it certainly is. Let's go back. Not a good day. Right, the rainbow lorikeet is magnificent. It's got red under the tail, red on the head, and there's also one called the red-capped lorikeet, and they look pretty similar. We have both coming into our garden, and we also have the black cockatoo, who comes, and he loves the bottle brush. He destroys the bottle brush. He takes the flowers, eats what he wants, and then breaks them off, and you end up with this carpet of bottle brush underneath. But they are such beautiful birds that you just can't say no to them, because they really are magnificent birds indeed. So they are really special birds to have in the garden. Let's see if we can go back.
Are they native only to Australia?
Yes, yes, they are native to Australia. Yeah. So they are really, really beautiful creatures. There are not that many of these black ones around any longer because they when they live in pairs, and they prefer to live in over 100-year-old trees. Now, with all the expansion of humans, a lot of the 100-year-old trees have been cut down. And so they're having people that we do keep beautiful little forests all the way through the suburbs. Every suburb has a little, they call it a reserve in every suburb, where the natural bush is and the natural grasses and everything. So the birds live in their natural habitat, but we don't have as many and they mainly on the East Coast, but we do have some on the West Coast as well. So they also chat and they talk a lot. So they are really gorgeous birds. They're quite loud, but they are the most amazing array of birds. As you can see, we are so fortunate with what we have in our garden every day.
What is the black bird in the upper right hand?
He's called a black cockatoo.
Oh,
It's called a Carnaby's black cockatoo.
I'll look him up.
He is really beautiful. Yeah, Carnaby's, like in Carnaby Street in London, Carnaby's black cockatoo. He's really gorgeous. And then we've got the red-capped lorikeet and the rainbow lorikeet as well. And then the Australian ringneck. So those are all different ones that we have that just come regularly into the garden of the parrot range. Then we have the smaller ones and some quite big ones. We have the raven, which I still call a crow because I grew up with it as a crow. So we have the raven that comes, and he was sitting on our fence. We have these very beautiful brown honeybirds, and the honey eater, they've got a yellow stripe on them. So those are honey eaters, and they often in the garden. We have a little wagtail who believes that the water bath belongs to him, and he will chase people away that want to come and have a bath. And we've actually got to send him out so that the other birds can come in at times when he gets really territorial with the water features. So he talks all day, every day. He comes very close to us. He's not scared of us at all. And he lives just about permanently in the garden. The little blue one is called a blue fairy wren, and she spends her time pecking at the window. They will peck for hours at the window and then go retreat to the chair, stand on the chair for a little bit, go back, peck, 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 back to the chair, peck, peck, peck. So we hear this constant sort of tapping on the window, and we know that the fairy wrens are back. And they are very, very beautiful. There are some brown ones, but we get this beautiful, vibrant blue one coming to us, and it really is exquisite. I'm not sure whether it is only the male that has this vibrant blue, and whether the female is maybe the brown one we're seeing. Because remember, in the bird world, the man is the beautiful one, and the female is the more dowdy one of the two. Then 2 days ago, we got a magpie that came and sat in the garden. It's a juvenile, but he was sitting just above the water feature, and I wasn't actually sure what he was. So we took the photo, and then I looked up in my book, and I said to Michael, but this looks like it's a magpie. Magpies don't normally come into the garden. They like big spaces. And then I used my what is it on Google, and sure enough, it was a magpie. So we've now got magpies in the garden as well. We've only had one, but one is always a start, because they'll tell their friend if they like what they saw, and we may end up with a few more coming in to visit. Just got to be careful that they don't lay their eggs in the garden, because then we'll never be able to go outside. Because if you go outside with them and they're too near their eggs, they will dive bomb you. So you don't want that. It's only for 2 weeks that they are like that. And interesting, here they're called the Murray Magpie, and that's my surname. So it makes it, you kind of take ownership of the magpie. Right. Now, others that we have as well in our garden um, is the red cap parrot, which is the one that you can see in the center. We've again just made it bigger for you to be able to see. We've got the rainbow lorikeet, because they really are exquisite. They are in the forest, but they also do come into our garden as well. There are all different shades of green. There are so many different green birds. And of course, we've got our doves and our little LBJs. And then in the bottom corner, you've got the Kookaburra. James, did you manage to find a Kookaburra for me?
Yes, I did find it, but
Uh,
I put the links in the chat so they
yeah,
can check it
I
out.
tried. Yeah, I tried. I'm going to try and let it run from my computer. I'm going to see if I can, and just see if sometimes you can't hear it from my computer. I got my TA last time was able to help me by putting it up on his computer. So let's just see if I can find you the best one on. Oopsie, I don't know if it's going to work. See if it'll come up, and then I can share it. Okay. Just got to get rid of the ad. All right, let's get rid of the advert. Now I'm going to share and see if you can hear it. We're taking a chance on this one because last time we couldn't hear it from my computer. But otherwise, you can certainly look them up yourself. Can you hear him? No. Oh, hang on. Michael told me that if I go into my, hang on, I know what he told me I needed to do. He said if I went into Zoom and I clicked on, which is something you can do for yourselves as well, audio, under audio, you need to put in ringtones. No, it's not that one.
We used to sing the Kookaburra song when I was in grade school.
Really?
I was going to say the same thing.
Is that Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree?
That's
Very,
it.
very like
Yeah.
Mother
Can
Bird
see.
is he.
Oh, beautiful. All right. James is putting it up for us. Let's see if James can get it to come up for us. And you're going to wait for the advert to finish. That's one of the things with YouTube. You have adverts that come up with it. It's getting his sound up to high. And let's see. No, I can't hear it. Can anybody else hear it?
No, I can't.
No, I can't either. No, I can't hear it either. Okay, not a problem. Maybe later on we can listen. Right now, how about some more about your birds? I've spoken a lot about my birds. What birds do you have around? Maybe not necessarily quite in your garden. Oh, there's some others I'll show you in a minute. Other birds that you've got.
We have lots of squirrels.
Squirrels. Well, if you've got the flying squirrel, then you can count them as a bird. Because those, I mean, they've got that wing piece on them, so they really look like they're flying when they go.
Yesterday at my bird feeder, there was a squirrel, and it was hanging upside down with its paws on one side of that bird feeder and his head on the other side of the bird feeder.
Yeah.
Wow.
Trying to get some food.
He was determined. That shows tenacity, it really does. It shows tenacity.
And then later on, he was on my wicker chair looking through the window at me.
No, well, he says, you don't give me food, you feed those birds. But what about me? I'm also here.
No, he gets some peanuts out of the bird feed, believe me.
He chases those. And Beata, what else do you have?
The goldfinches are reappearing, and they're always lovely to see.
Oh,
darting
was-
along, the
that's-
goldfinches. We both in the early spring and late fall, we get the seasonal northern junco, which I love because they're a gray bird with a white breast, the male. They're so
Ooh.
pretty.
Oh, is that what that's called?
That's a northern junco.
Oh, because sometimes I'm just, I watch birds a lot, but yet I don't know all their names. And, I get into hummingbirds and I get into the finches, but there's like every now and then I'll see a bird out there and go, I wonder what that name is going to be,
There's a wonderful little book by Stan Tikala that I'll run downstairs and get it. It's Birds of Michigan. He does all the states, and they're just wonderful photographs, and they tell you about the birds, and he has them organized by color. So that's really a really
That
neat
is
thing.
very useful. Very,
Yes.
very useful.
It's
I
not
then-
the most professional. I mean, birders probably really wouldn't like it, but as a home person, I like it.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
sometimes you'll
that's
see a
true.
green bird, and now you've got to go through the whole book looking for every green bird on about 50,000 pages. While if you
Oh,
could just
yeah.
go to the green birds, then you can go through the green birds quickly and find. We had that in South Africa. We had Newman's bird book, and you had it in the ordinary or you had it according to color. And I had both those books, and I referred to the color one a lot more than the other one because it was so much easier to do that.
Yeah.
And Marlene, what do you have? You're still on mute. You're still on mute. There we go.
Yeah, the robin birds, robin with their orange body, and gray, and the the cardinal birds. But we do have a bird's nest. We have a porch light at the front door, and the bird decided to put the nest right on top of the light, the light fixture. And so it's a robin bird. And we would open the door and the bird would fly down, and then it would stare at us, and he would look back and forth and up and down, make sure nobody was around, so he could get back into the nest. But we do have that going on, right?
Oh, that is beautiful.
And you got to get this book, Birds
Uh-huh.
of Michigan by Stan.
Oh, you know what? I might have
Oh.
that book. I might have that book. Let me go and check because it's right here if I do have it.
Okay, that'll be awesome.
This guy we see all the time. This is one of the woodpeckers we see.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
pretty.
beautiful. He is. He's beautiful. We used to have a type of woodpecker in South Africa, and they would hollow out a tree still growing. They would hollow out one of the branches and have a hole at the beginning and a hole at the end. And then at night, they would fly in and pack in one behind the other. And so you would have 4 or 5 of them packed into this little space.
That's
And
good.
in the morning, they would fly out one after the other out of the space. It was gorgeous.
So this is that northern flicker. He's quite,
Oh,
he's got a black
wow.
chin, and then he's got a white rump right there.
Oh, goodness me. He is beautiful.
He is.
Wow.
They are
Yeah.
beautiful birds.
Now, the ones we had in South Africa were called a black-collared barbet, and they were beautiful. We used to have crested barbets and black-collared barbets, and they were really beautiful. And they used to dig into the tree. And then, unfortunately, what would happen is that the bees would come along, and they would send the birds out and take over the bee as a beehive, and then we would have to get somebody in and get them to move on because it became quite dangerous with them in the tree. And then sometimes they would go back to their homes, but 9 times out of 10 they would start a new home somewhere else and start building again. So
I did find my hummingbird book that I've got.
oh wow.
And
Thank-
that's what got me into hummingbirds when I found this book. And I says, I'm going to really try to get, into them and stuff. So
Now, we used to call those in South Africa, we used to call them sunbirds. I think it's the same bird because
are
they used to do exactly what a hummingbird does, but we used to
Mhm.
call them the sunbirds, the different sunbirds, and they're beautiful.
I heard that they like to be around feeders around dusk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that is beautiful. So we have all these different, it's so nice to hear about other people's birds in different parts of the world. For me, it is so special because every country has their special birds. And it is lovely to hear about them. Obviously, the swallows move from one country to another depending on the seasons. And so they are able to be in the different places as well. Right. Now, just the last one of mine, if my computer will allow me to share. There we go. Oh, really is playing up today. The last one is what we find in the park in front of us. In front of us, we have these beautiful sulphur-crested cockatoos. They have their beautiful crest when they put it up, and they sometimes you will have 50 of them all feeding together on the open field. They come down and they feed at certain times. And then if you go to a different suburb, you'll see that they're there that day. And then they won't come back for a week or two. And then suddenly they're back for a night or two feeding at sort of 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It looks like a white lawn instead of a big green lawn. And it's covered in these sulphur-crested cockatoos. We also have a guala. And a guala is gray with a pink front, a very beautiful pink front. And they always fly in flocks of anything from 50 down to 5 or 6. And they are all around our area. And you hear them every morning and every evening. They've got a very distinctive call. And as they fly over, they call, and when they find in where they want to be, and they'll sit on the light fittings out in the street. You'll see them all there, some on the trees, some on the light fittings. They gather everywhere, and they are absolutely beautiful. They're not particularly scared of you. They'll come down and feed about a meter from you. They'll just keep an eye open on you, but they're often around the schools. They're quite used to the children as well. And they're aware if a child is going to come and be a nuisance, then they just fly away. But they're very happy to feed wherever they are. But that's a pink guala. So that is another, it's a Galah, a gala, and they really are beautiful. Then you do get the magpie. Now, the magpie is a problem for 2 weeks of the year. The rest of the time, you hardly notice they're there. You hear the crows more than the magpies, and you don't really take much notice of them. But for the 2 weeks when the eggs are in the nest and the little ones are starting to hatch, that is when they become a nuisance. And they will fly at people, and they will fly. You always know that you close your eyes if a magpie is coming towards you because it goes for things that sparkle. And so, but you'll be riding along and they'll attack your helmet because your helmet has a flicker on it, and they'll go for it and they'll almost knock you off your bike. Also, if you've hurt them or you've done something to them, they don't forget. And you can be in a whole group of people, and if you're the one that has done something, they will go for you, not for anybody else in that whole group. And so they don't forget if you have done something to them. So
Now,
they
which
are
one
an
did you
interesting
say
bird.
was the magpie? The black
The black one. Yeah, the black and white one.
Okay, because that
that's a
looks
magpie.
like our blackbird with the red wings. Kind
Okay.
of resembles it, doesn't it?
Well, it's much bigger, I assume, the magpie than the
They're
black.
about that size. Yeah, they're about that size. They're
Wow.
so they've got an interesting size to them. They're not as big as your crows. They're smaller than the crows, but what do we call them? Ravens here in Australia. I've got to get used to the Australian name for things. I call it according to what it was in South Africa. One of the, I know that Pam doesn't like owls, but one of the owls that I once saw, only once, and I wish, it was for about 3 nights in a row and then it was gone. We had a giant eagle owl on the farm where I was staying. And as I drove in one night, it appeared in my lights between me and the garage where I parked the car. So I stopped and waited for it. It was the height of the car. So they are
Wow,
really, really big birds. They are the giant eagle owl. They are enormous. You almost think it's like a small person standing there in front of you. And they were really beautiful. We saw it for 2 or 3 nights, and then after that, it seemed to move on to somewhere else. Either it didn't like the fact that we had lights, or the fact that the farmer didn't like it so close to his ducks and his geese. So maybe that could also have been a reason why it moved on and went into some other place for it to be able to do. Thank you, James, for putting up all the different things in the chat box. James is great at putting up lots of trivia and little things that we speak about. He goes and checks them out and he pops them in the chat box. So I really do appreciate all the little extras that he manages to put in for us.
Thank you.
But
Thank you, James.
I really do suggest that you go and look up the Song of the Kookaburra, because James has put the links in for you, and the chat is available to you, so you will be able to go and listen to it, because it makes this incredible sound right from the tip of its toes, and it comes up and it literally laughs at you, and you just have to laugh along with it. And if there are 2 of them, they laugh in unison, and it is the most awesome sound to hear, the kookaburra. It's a sound that you don't hear anywhere else, and there's no other bird that makes that kind of sound at all. So right now, well, thank you everyone for being in class. What I would love to ask you to do is to take some pictures of the birds that you have in your gardens, and send them to Liz at Get Set Up. Liz will send them to me, and then I can make a page of the birds that have been seen in people's gardens. So that we can then build up kind of like a little album of the different types of birds that people have seen in their gardens. And I think that would be nice, because then other people can say, oh yes, I've got that in my garden. And particularly when it's America, Australia, there are different types of birds, and you are then able to see each other. Yes, Nan?
I'm just wondering, because whenever I get too close to the window and stuff, the birds, fly away. So it's really hard for me to take any pictures.
Well, maybe if you have a picture in a book that's of the bird that you see, and then just send that so that we can include that in as well. If you can't do it from your phone, then just do it that way, because birds do fly away when you want them to.
Yeah,
want to see them. They do what you don't want them to do. And it's very annoying that they do that.
I love in the morning just getting a cup of coffee, opening up my window. I mean my patio door, and looking through it and just watching the birds in the morning. That's the best time ever to watch them.
Morning and evening, yeah, absolutely. That is their best time altogether. So Peter and Marlene, if you'll do the same, and Pat as well, it would be really nice if you could do that with us as well, because it just makes it so much better to be able to do that. And then you are able to then find out ways of, then I can include it in the presentation, and I think it'll just add so much more to it.
Are you on every week?
I am, yes.
At this time?
Next week, the best thing to do, Nan, is to just type my name in at the top when you're looking at classes, and all my classes for the week come up. And then
Okay.
you're able to see
right.
what I'm doing, because I've got encounters with wildlife, I've got African animals, I've got a trivia quiz that I'm doing. We've done movies and we've done the 60s. Next week is Where Do I Come From? This is food, places, musical instruments, all sorts of things. You've got to guess the country that they come from. So every week I have a trivia quiz. What else have I got that I do? I can't even think of gardening, that you might enjoy as well if you've got a garden. I do upcycling gardening, where things you've got and you're not sure what to do with them, how to use them in your garden. So that's also a fun one to do. That's using what you've got. So there are a whole variety of things, and all of next week's ones are up already. So you can then find and choose what you would like to see.
Okay. Thank
I'm
you,
usually
Sue.
on twice a day. Sometimes I'm on 3 times, but usually twice a day. You will find me sometime busy doing
Okay.
different
Thank you,
tasks.
Sue.
Pleasure.
Thank you
Great
so
pleasure.
much. It was a
you.
very nice meeting you, Nan.
You
Yeah,
too.
no. You
Are
two
you
must
on-
get together.
Are you on Facebook?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Dana?
Yes,
Okay,
I am.
I'll message you, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
And,
Take
Sue,
care, everyone.
would not only a photograph, but would you also accept a video of the bird?
Yes, certainly I would.
Oh,
Certainly
okay.
I would. Definitely. I'd accept a video. I'd accept all sorts of things to do with birds. It's certainly, and then we can put the video up of the birds. Yes, I will be able to do that as well. So yes, please.
Yeah.
That would be great, Marlene, if you would do that.
Okay.
And then I'll just send you an email at the end. And if you just give us some feedback, whether it's what you're looking for, what you're wanting, just so we get an idea and how you enjoyed the class. Right. And then, of course, you could ask a friend to join you now. When you book, you can click on a friend and you can get a friend to join you in the class, which is also nice because you can discuss it after the class. And so those are nice ways of doing it. So please, thank you so much for being part of class. It really has been such a pleasure to have you in class. I look forward to hopefully seeing all of you again at some time. It would be awesome. Anybody got anything they'd like to say before we close?
You said something about us getting
An email.
an email, or no, you said something about we could have a recording of this class.
Yes, you can. You get the recording. I do send you the link as well in my email, but it's help@getsetup.io.
Okay.
And
thank
then you
you.
just ask for a copy of the recording and you can get a recording of it.
Okay.
Amaya, I hope you enjoyed your time with us as well. Amaya is busy doing an internship, so she's observing today. Great to have you with us. Pam, thank you for being in class too. Marlene, lovely to have you with us.
Thank
And
you.
it's been great. I hope to see you all again. Bye for now. Thank you,
Bye.
James, for all your little
Bye-bye.
bits that
Okay,
you
bye.
added.